Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 87 of the Game and Talk podcast here on Nuke the Fridge Gaming. I am your illustrious host, Joey Ferris, joined as always by Chris Del Castillo.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, I'm not doing video because hopefully that'll help
Help the internet,
out because I'm
of
having some
course.
Wi-Fi
I might have to
issues.
do this. This might be just be an all audio podcast because everything's going wrong right now. But I don't know. It'll be fine. But we're joined today by our good friend Jake James Lugo from the Coalition and his own YouTube channel as well.
Thank you guys for having me on. Again, it's a pleasure to be on here, chat it up with you guys. It's good that we finally get to talk like this because we've chatted on social media before, but this is going to be fun.
It's going to be totally fun. I was nervous for a second because you got your mute sign on, and I was like, oh no, is his mic working? Who muted him? I didn't mute him. What's going on?
No, I'm good. Right. I'm here. No, because I muted myself after I finished talking.
All right, cool. Hey, tell you what, JJ, your video's doing really bad, so why don't you just switch to audio, and we'll just have to deal with that, I guess. All right, cool.
There we go. Is that a little bit better?
It's a little bit better.
A little bit better like that.
Yeah, like this is. I'm going to be the only one with a face in this podcast. What do you know?
Okay.
How weird is that? All right, but it's been quite a few crazy weeks. Yeah. Why don't we get started with what we've been playing? So, JJ, what you been playing?
Oh man, I've been playing a lot because I've been doing a lot of reviews for the Coalition, as well as also for my own YouTube channel. I've been playing a lot of different games, like bouncing back and forth between different games and writing scripts and stuff. So the most recent game that I've been playing, for review was Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. I actually did a review for that on my own YouTube channel that went up recently. And then besides that, for the Coalition, for games I've been writing reviews for instead of doing video, I actually have been playing Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD for Nintendo Switch. I've been messing around with that. I just did a review for a Cuphead on Nintendo Switch as well. That actually I have a review up on the website now, which again, I really enjoy it. I thought it was pretty damn cool. I had a lot to say about it, specifically on the Nintendo Switch version, which I thought was pretty awesome. And then the other game that I recently reviewed as well for the Coalition was Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. That game is horrible, like really bad. It's bad to the point where it wants to be like Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, but it like goes forward a couple steps and then takes 10 steps back in like the worst way possible. And for Power Rangers fans, it's a game that could have been amazing, could have been awesome, could have really had a lot of fan service for it, but it ends up being a dud. So that's what I've been messing around with as of late.
I turned my camera off too, because boy, oh boy, something's going on with the Wi-Fi of the world right now. What is it, guys?
I know, it's not just yours, right?
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh, you're lagging like hell too. What's going on here? I am sad. I am a sad lad. Let's just be honest with that. But I'm also going to share the link everywhere so you guys can watch this all the places. But Chris, what have you been playing?
Let's see. I've actually been going into some of my backlog. Can you guys hear me fine? Because I know there's no picture, so I can't tell anything right now.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So I've been finishing up Lost Sphere. I went back and started playing Aria of Sorrow, just like Jake said he was doing. It's a game I've always loved. Cuphead. Doing a lot of Persona 5. Doing a lot of Smash Brothers and playing with Joker for Persona 5. And honestly, that's about all I've been actually had time to play right now.
I've also been playing a little bit of Cuphead. I haven't played too much of it. I have just been playing the Division 2 a lot. Like, boy, oh boy, I was not expecting to love that game as much as I do because I recently just got done with Anthem. I did a review of that on my channel, Ferris Wheel Pro, and I just didn't like that game at all. Like, I liked some parts of it. That's kind of a lie. I did like some parts of it. Like, the intro was great. Gameplay's fun and stuff like that. But other than that, way too repetitive. The world is just too bland for me to even care about it. But the Division 2, when it comes to being a looter shooter, it like really knows how to keep you engaged by giving you better loot, more fun loot, and of course, like changing the levels. The level design is just really good. It just really shakes things up. No battle ever feels the same way, and that's what I commend Ubisoft for what they've done with the Division 2. And this is coming from someone who did not give two cares in the world about the first Division, but the Division 2, man. And I've been playing it by myself. Like, I've barely had anyone in my party. I've just been playing it by myself. Still a good game. It's great. And have you played it?
Yeah, I messed
I
around
have
with it
played it
very, very
actually.
briefly. Again, I'm not really into the division like that.
I see. Well, it's really good. So I'll say that. I'm excited for the episodes that are coming out. And yeah, it's really exciting. But let's get right into the exciting news. Let's just get right into all the excitement that's been brewing these past couple of weeks. And that is that we're getting new consoles sometime soon in the future. What we know,
Probably next year, as early as as early as
I'd say somewhere around that time.
next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. As early as maybe even the end of this year, perhaps. If we're talking.
I don't think we'll
Well,
get it.
here's
I
no.
don't think
Here's
we'll
the
get
thing,
anything.
Chris. Nintendo Switch Mini. There you go.
That's
Well,
not a
it's
new
a
console
new
though.
console, but it's not a new console. You know, get what I'm saying?
If it was like yeah, I know. Just releasing a mini doesn't exactly mean it's like a Xbox One X Pro.
Either way, it's fun to see new hardware iterations come out. That's always a good time to be excited. But yeah, I know what you mean. New consoles. That's not going to happen until next year at the earliest. That's just what I'm saying. It is, but it isn't. Hello, Sub Shadow. Shout out to Sub Shadow in the chat. Hey guys, if you're watching this, let us know in the comments. Did my computer freeze? It froze for a second. It's okay. We're all good. But anyway, what we do know is that actually we don't know this. It's a rumor, but the Wall Street Journal reported on new Nintendo Switch iterations as early as last October, and they said that these are going to be to maintain sales momentum of the Switch, whatever that means. But they also came back again late last month saying that there are going to be two new iterations of the Switch, one that is a lower end model, which is what we're going to be calling the Nintendo Switch Mini, and one that is higher end for more seasoned gamers, and we're just going to codename that the Nintendo Switch Pro. So, how do we feel about this news? Do we think it's legit?
To be honest
Not
with you, I
sure.
think part of it is legit, but I also think that, maybe it's a little bit over exaggerated because this is in Nintendo's nature to get new versions of their hardware, like, new iterations of their consoles and their portables. It would make sense for that to happen because it would have better guts inside of it. So the games might load faster, might have a better battery life, might have a different type of screen, like little things like that, little adjustments and quality of life adjustments that are going to make playing on Nintendo Switch a lot better. I think that's probably true. If anything, I don't think we hear anything official until E3 during the direct. That makes the most sense to me. As far as like any other like big details coming out of that stuff, I'm still kind of suspect about it until then.
I still feel like if it's coming from something like the Wall Street Journal, there is obviously some weight to it, but that's the thing, right? We could assume that the Nintendo Switch Mini is of course going to be pretty much like a Nintendo 2DS. It's going to be smaller, it's going to have lots of different bright colors, it's going to be more sturdy, it's going to be basically made for kids and those who don't want to spend as much money on the Switch. And rumor has it it's not going to have any Joy-Cons, it's not going to have like detachable Joy-Cons, at least. It's not going to have HD rumble. There's going to be a lot of features that are going to be cut out of it. Like, these are just rumors and all, but, the Nintendo Switch was one big rumor, and it turned out to be true. So, who knows at this point. But I have a feeling the Switch Mini is what it is. Like, there was a leaked image released. Did any of you see that image?
Yes. I think that's the one I posted
No, I
yesterday in
haven't
our
seen the
group,
image
right?
yet. I didn't get to. I didn't get to see that, but every time something like that happens, I'm always suspect of it because I've been burnt before by like, fakes and other stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait it out until I get an official thing from Nintendo.
Exactly. It's just like we've seen so many quote unquote convincing leaked images to the point where it's like, what can you trust anymore? And this one was supposedly can't stay, left a like, and happy Easter. Thanks, Kamui Plays. You're awesome. But other than that, I think, that image, it could be real, but everyone has a 3D printer nowadays. Just saying. And it's not, and there's a lot of good Photoshoppers out there. Also, just saying. So it's really up in the air at this point. And like you've been saying, JJ, I think we'll find out what this is at E3, but I don't think we're going to find out what the Switch Pro is until much, much later. Because there's another, what's going on? Chris?
Hold on, that's me.
Hold on, that's me.
What's going on? What are you doing?
Sorry. So first, acting really weird, so I have to switch over to mobile completely.
Okay, so turn off your other one.
I just did.
No, it's still there. That's weird. You're still there. I'm gonna kick you.
Okay, kick it.
Kick it good. I'm gonna eject. Haha.
That's
Gone.
funny.
That's weird because it's off on my laptop. But yeah, so I've had to switch over to mobile because, as you heard, I couldn't hear anything actually.
Yeah, that's really weird. Oh well. But what do you think of the Switch Mini, Chris?
Fine, man. I can hear you guys. You know, I like the concept if it's what some of those images I think I posted yesterday
Yeah.
where it's like you said, it's all one. It'll be cheaper hopefully because there's no wireless anything. You'll have your adapters there. Hopefully, you can still use your Switch controllers and everything. But I don't care for it, but it actually looks pretty cool for those who don't have it.
I'm gonna go back into video because I feel left out now. But that's what I'm thinking as well. I was saying like it's gonna be really meant for kids, and it's just gonna be a cheaper alternative. It has to be cheaper because
I don't know if it's just going to be for kids. It's just going to be for anybody who doesn't have a Switch right now that just wants something cheaper.
yeah, of course, it's gonna be for both. Like I have friends who bought the 2DS because it was cheaper, and they're not kids. So there you go.
I don't have a 2DS, but I actually want one.
Really?
Because I do like I want the new 2DS because it looks really good.
It does. It looks premium, kind of.
I never use the 3D aspect. I do own like maybe 5 different variations of the 3DS, but I want a 2DS for like just regular use.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I'm still sticking with my Metroid new 3DS XL because might as well save money.
I mean, I love my Majora's Mask one, but yeah, I'd like a new one.
All right, cool. And I was just saying, like, Nintendo Switch Mini, I think we'll find out about that as soon as E3, because the Wall Street Journal reported that it would be reported on as soon as E3. So we'll find out if that's true come June. But the Nintendo Switch Pro, if what another source, Nikkei, is saying, that system has been pushed back, not necessarily delayed, because how can it be delayed if it hasn't been announced yet, or its release date? So it was basically saying that it's unclear who's leading this project, or rather, it's also unclear what the vision of the Switch Pro is going to be, if it is even a Switch Pro, because this source also says that this is not even just like an upgrade of the Switch, it's going to be like new hardware in general. So it's very...
You see, to me, that's suspect. To me, that's totally suspect, and to me, that's the most unbelievable thing about it, because number one, why would Nintendo make 2 versions of a console that's out right now? Why not just make one iteration of it? Because I think that would make more sense. That's like immediately right after the 3DS coming out, then having the XL and something else alongside of it, which didn't happen. I think we got the XL, and then we got the then we got another version of the 3DS afterwards, like that. I think it was the 2DS, something like that. It was one after the other, not.
I think the 3DS XL came first, and then the 2DS, and then the new 3DS XL. So they've done it before.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not completely out of the
But it was one after the other. It wasn't like simultaneous.
No, it wasn't. That's why I'm saying this. That's what I'm saying. The Switch Pro and the Switch Mini. It's this. These rumors say they're not going to come out at the same time. Like the Mini is coming out before the Pro. The Pro might not even come out maybe until late next year. Who knows? Assuming it exists.
I don't think the Pro thing is real. I honestly don't think the Pro thing is real, because I feel like right now for Nintendo, I think it's much more smart to have one new iteration of it where people are going to buy into, especially if they're going to put all those types of features into it. It just doesn't make sense. I see what you mean,
but it's like I thought the same thing about the PS4 Pro. Like, why? Who wants this crap? And now I have one.
Yeah, same.
But to be fair,
yeah, right.
I was also buying it from Kyle, who's a guest on this podcast, because he wanted to get the Spider-Man PS4 Pro, and I'm like, well, crap, if I can get a PS4 Pro for not as much, then hell yeah, dude, be my guest, I'll buy it. But I'm glad I did, because I don't think I could handle a standard PS4 on my 4K TV. But that's just me. But
here's my quick thoughts on the Pro Switch. I think it's too early for it to come out right now. Any kind of hardware upgrade for a system that's been out for about 2 years, I think we don't need that yet. Maybe another year or two from now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of a slap in the face of those who already have it. Because why do we need an upgrade on something? If it's just minor upgrades, sure. But if it's going to be like a Pro, a big step up, then it's kind of sad to release it 2 years after the original system's out.
Well, that would be like 3.5 at that point, I have a feeling. I mean, like, because what this report's saying is it's not coming out, it's been being pushed back, but clearly, if this is true, who knows what's happening? And like JJ was saying, maybe this is hella sketch, and none of this is true at all. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. But you know what's actually concrete happening? PlayStation 5. They're not calling it PlayStation 5. It's going to be called PlayStation 5.
You mean not the more powerful Xbox One too?
It's calling. They're calling it PlayStation 5. They just haven't said it yet.
What'd you say, JJ? You broke up a little bit there.
I said that they're definitely calling it PlayStation 5. They just haven't like really said it yet. Like they're being coy about it.
They're just wanting to. Sony's just like, hey, Xbox, try it. Try talking about your next gen hardware while we just talk about it to Wired.com. That was what's weird to me. I can. Oh, Chris, you get like an echo. I can hear myself.
I thought my finger was near the microphones. Sorry.
Don't ever do that to me again. But all right, cool. And
I'm holding my phone with one hand. Sorry, while we're
why
chatting.
don't you just like prop it up on something, my friend?
Okay, go ahead. I'll do that while you're chatting.
Okay, cool. Now I'm just like tilted on something. I don't know, whatever. But okay, so we got the exclusive buzz from Wired.com. Sony came to Wired.com and said, hey, well, more specifically, Mark Cerny, the architect on the PlayStation 4, and now the next generation hardware, which they're not calling PlayStation 5, but they're more than likely going to call it PlayStation 5 because it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, this is what they're known for. They're not going to call it PlayStation Vita 2 or something.
Well, I mean, for the main consoles, yeah, it's been PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS,
I feel like
Pro.
I feel like when you get to like number 7 or something, at that point you should maybe come up with different names. But I don't know. That might confuse.
That name is too iconic.
It's way too iconic. But yeah. What are your thoughts on that, JJ? I just want to include you some more.
Honestly, I think that they're still going to call it PlayStation 5. And the reason being is because somebody actually brought this up on one of their own shows, was that people thought when the PlayStation 4 was coming out, they weren't going to call it PS4 because in the Japanese language, the way that 4 is said in their language sounds like another word that means bad luck. That means like, misery or something along those lines, which is an unlucky thing. And they ended up calling it PlayStation 4 anyway.
PlayStation Death.
Yeah, something like that along those lines. So they ended up doing that. So I think it's safe to assume that they're going to stick with that tradition of naming each successive console, the successive number. I think that's totally cool. What I think is more interesting was that during the interview that they had was the discussion about the non-loading type of stuff, or at least speeding up load times where the different game worlds that you're exploring, like using an example for Spider-Man, having it load up super fast, or having something like, Red Dead Redemption 2 load up super fast. So there isn't a lot of downtime between your game like that. That to me, that's the most interesting thing because they're talking about SDDs with that, and that's something that's like really super meta, really super techy like that. But it's interesting because it can have such big ramifications for the console experience.
Yeah, basically,
I think it said it was going from like 8.5 seconds to about like 0.75, something like that.
Like a couple milliseconds.
Seconds.
Yeah, it was like a really
seconds
big in like
to 8.8 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a lot of a difference. As solid state drive,
which is like, again, if you think about it, again, if you played a solid state drive. But if you've played like something like Spider-Man, or you've fast traveled in any game like Grand Theft Auto or something, you know how long it takes for that world to load back in again. That's something that's really
I know
cool.
how long that took in Spider-Man when I had to keep going back and forth between different areas.
Exactly. Don't even get me started on The Witcher 3, boys. Oh God,
I know.
One of the longest. Oh, and Anthem, but Anthem was just battle around. But what we got here, I got the article right here.
What's Anthem?
What is Anthem? That's the question. But what we got here, I got some things about the specs. I have the article right here. The CPU is based on the 3rd generation of AMD's Ryzen line and contains 8 cores of the company's new 7-nanometer Zen 2 microarchitecture. Basically, that's really good. Ryzens are really good CPUs, just saying. And AMD has been in the console business for a while. Like, without the console business, AMD would cease to exist. So there's that. And the GPU is, of course, a Radeon. It's a Radeon GPU under the Navi family and will support ray tracing. If you don't know what ray tracing is, let me tell you, it's a lot of reflections, and it really changes how games look vastly. Just look at the Minecraft update. Just look at, not really a Minecraft update. I think it's a mod where they added ray tracing. I don't know, but you basically it basically adds more reflections to things, more realistic reflections, along with something about lighting. I'm just dumbing it down. It's way more complicated and complex than that. Just compare Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus is like the most recent game to really take advantage of ray tracing. It's completely night and day on consoles. Even like on Xbox One X. Like if it's running on an RTX card and like an RTX 2080, the game looks completely different on PC. That's how basically what it looks like. Did your phone vibrate? Because I think it vibrated. Vibration. Jesus Christ. But let's continue. Also, this PlayStation 5 is supposedly working with why are you doing this?
I was turning it on mute.
But
I had to switch over to this Google Hangouts mobile as quickly as possible. Sorry.
oh, it's okay. It's okay. But also we talked about SSDs. If this apparently this sort of SSD the dev kit is running isn't even an SSD that we can buy now. It's like a next generation solid state drive. So that's going to be something. And
But like it said, 15 seconds to 0.8 seconds for fast travel on Spider-Man. That is awesome.
I'm hoping those SSDs, or at least the hard drive space is over 1 terabyte, because games obviously we're going to need that space. We need a lot of space
exactly
for our digital download.
Games are getting way too big for just 500 gigabytes. Like seriously.
Well, now that we're adding like 4K ability in games, so like the Xbox One X games, those were huge when you added the 4K updates.
Yeah.
And now this is going to be 8K?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They said the next generation console will support 8K graphics, but I think that's just for video mostly. I don't think it's actually going to be 8K in video games. Like the original PS4 supported 4K video. So it's not too out of the cards that whenever 8K takes off, if it takes off, dude, if you can't, you need a TV that's at least 90 inches to notice 8K, I think. So good luck trying to get
I think also at a certain point, you can't really tell the difference, because I've seen games like Shadow of the Colossus run at 4K 30 frames per second, and it looks gorgeous. I think beyond that, it just looks just as good. And it's like there's very minute differences that I think your eye can't tell.
Exactly.
I think at some point, like when it gets past certain dimensions or certain size. But even so, I mean, that's kind of cool. But is that like 8K type of like games going to run smoothly? I think that's another question that people are wondering about.
Yeah,
well,
that's what.
Here's my only thing. I'm going to say I'm not an expert when it comes to like 4K versus like 4K HDR and everything, because there's like so many different variations of this stuff. I'm just a regular consumer, so to speak. Yes, we do have to notice a lot of the stuff when we can, but when you have your TV and it's a 4K, right? You're happy with it. It looks beautiful. Then you'll go to a Best Buy or something, and then you'll see their true 4K upscaled and everything, and it looks more gorgeous. But most things can't handle it that well. So for us, it's just like, my 4K TV right here cost me like $300 on Black Friday, and it looks gorgeous compared to the last thing I have. I'll go to Best Buy and I'll be like, damn, I want that, but I'm not going to spend close to 10 grand.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so for the regular consumer, it's just like, are you going to drop that much money when this TV right here looks just as beautiful?
Exactly. I'm thinking like more than resolution, TV companies, this is a separate topic, but I want to go over it a little bit. TV companies need to start like investing in things that aren't higher resolution. Like HDR, I think is amazing and gorgeous. I love it so much. Like without it, 4K, I feel like, in my opinion, would be absolutely useless. At least on where I'm playing, how big my TV is. It's 65 inch. I'm sitting a fair distance away from it. But like if 8K is going to be a thing, I'm going to need like 90 inch TV or something. I don't know. And I don't want to want 8K because like you said, there's only so much the human eye can gather.
I want to ask you a question quick, Joey.
Yes.
When you got your 4K TV with HDR, did you just go back and forth between HDR off and on and see how like the biggest difference?
I wish I could, but the TV does it automatically. It's kind of stupid. You can't turn off HDR like instantly back to back. It's dumb. I wish you could do that because I wanted to. The most I could do maybe is set up a standard Blu-ray on my PlayStation and a 4K Blu-ray of the same movie on my Xbox One S. It's different and switch back and forth between inputs, but that'd be a pain in the ass. I don't want to do
your PS4. Your PS4 can do that, right?
What do you mean?
If you go into the settings, you can actually turn HDR on and off.
Yeah, but it's not like
It's
clapped.
not
Like
the exact same, I know, but
you
it
have
gives
to go into the
feeling.
menu. You'd have to go blah blah blah, and then you have to go back in to see what it looks like. And by that time, you already forgot what it looks like. It's stupid. It's really dumb. But the big thing, I don't even want to say that's like the best thing about it, but I think it's going to be a really important factor of this PlayStation 5 is
Okay,
PS4.
if it's what it is, let's see. I'm hoping I'm thinking what you're going to say.
And what do you think I'm going to say?
Backwards compatibility.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. You're right. Yes,
Backwards
you're right.
compatibility for me is the thing I'm most excited for. You know, I thought the coolest thing was when like the PlayStation 3 first came out. Oh, it's gonna be compatible with PS2, PS1. Awesome. I dropped I think it was like $600 for that
Yes.
80 gig PS3.
$599.
$599
That's free money right there.
$599. Yes.
Yeah.
But that was the coolest thing. That's made me love that system. I was a little sad that PS4 couldn't do it, but hey, you know, for what I was going to be playing, that's okay. I do wish PSN had PS1, PS2, PS3 digital backwards compatibility, but if PS5 has that, that is awesome. But, and also in a sense, it's actually going to be a bad thing for someone like me.
Why?
Because that means collectors or people who want to play old stuff is just going to get more expensive.
Yeah.
That
That's
means
true.
I'm going to pull something up very quick just to kind of
All
show
right.
you.
What's your take on the backwards compatibility, JJ?
I think that's a great thing. I think that it's smart because I don't think they're going to want to drop all those dived in on the PS4 ecosystem and force them to change into something else new when they could keep them and kind of like entice them to get into the new hardware while still maintaining their library that they already accumulated over the years. I think that's smart business and it's going to keep people happy and keep the conversation positive about the PlayStation ecosystem. I think also at the same time, this also sets a precedent for Microsoft with the next Xbox to do something similar, if not the same thing. Because remember, Microsoft was the ones that came out and actually showed that backwards compatibility can be done. They said originally during the launch of the Xbox One that wasn't going to be a thing, and they figured out a way to do it. And that actually was a good thing for them over PlayStation for a time, you know, with the whole backwards compatibility, or at least, you know, being able to play some of your 360 and your original Xbox games.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I was
like that. Not even with Game Pass. Yes.
So what I was going to get into
besides PlayStation 4 stuff, a lot of people are also saying like other compatibility with some of the older PlayStation games, including PS3 and PS2 stuff. I'm not sure if I really believe that, but it makes more sense to me to have the backward compatibility with all the PlayStation 4 library. Like that makes more sense to me.
Yeah,
like
I remember that patent about them having like an emulation software that emulates PS1, PS2, and PS3 games. That'd be really cool to see on the PS5, but I don't know if that's the dream or whatnot. But Chris, what were you looking for?
Okay, so what I was going to say is, so like I said, it's going to be great because, you know, I can play all my backward stuff, but it's also going to cause prices to go up, I think. Like, let's say, you know, this game, Kulon, right?
Yes.
Like some glare. You know how much this goes for right now?
How much?
About $300 to $350. That's crazy, right?
Yep.
You think about it. It's not a good game. Not that great of a game either. So it's going to just
Neither
cause
is
a lot of
Devil's Third.
stuff to fluctuate. Oh, God. No, Devil's Third was only expensive because they only printed a limited amount of those.
400 copies.
The 400 copies. A little more, probably. But as soon as they re-released more, that game just tanked.
I could have sworn I heard they only shipped 400 copies in the entire United States. I could have sworn I read an article.
Maybe at the beginning, because I remember at the beginning, a sealed copy was going for like maybe $150. But now they're down to like, you can find a used one. You can find a used one for like maybe $40-$50. I think I haven't checked the market since that whole issue. But, you know, I'm going to be happy if it's going to be like the Xbox 360, Xbox One did, where it's all kind of like a program that'll let you emulate that stuff. Fine with that, you know?
Yeah.
I'd be love if they did kind of like what Microsoft did by doing the upscale. So maybe 4K, 1080, I don't care, that's fine. I know Sony's been going back and remastering a lot of their older games. They just did like Star Ocean 3. I can just name a bunch of different games. I'd be fine with that. You know, I paid a little extra because I own the collection. If you look at my back, I've got close to, I think, 500 PS1 games, 200 PlayStation 2 games, just stuff that's just really cool that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I set that my library. I love those games. I still have all the systems, so we'll see how that works.
That's what I'm wondering too.
Just I really want to hear more because we haven't heard if that's going to be happening.
Exactly. And when you mentioned the remasters and stuff, that's the point I kind of want to bring up about this PS4 backwards compatibility thing. Because
PS5?
yeah, PS5, sorry. But like PS5, PS4 backwards compatibility with those games. Because the game they tested out, of course, with the load times was Spider-Man. That's a PS4 game. That is not going to be like a PS5 game unless they're thinking about remastering it. But at that point, it's just like the reason why there were so many remasters on the PS4 and just this generation in general is because PS had complete different architecture and they couldn't and not a lot of people on top of that, not a lot of people bought the PS3 or not nearly as much as they did the Xbox 360. So you have the fact that a lot of people missed out on those games, and two, there's no way PS4 was ever going to be able to play PS3 games because completely different architecture. And which really makes me wonder, it's like, so PS4 is the best-selling console this generation, like the most sold units, and I still think the Switch is selling faster than it. But even then, that's not the point. There's still more PS4s sold out there, and then the PS5 is going to be backwards compatible with PS4. What's going to happen? Will there still be a lot of remasters as this generation was? Or will they just say, like with games, a lot of people think games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Death Stranding are taking so long, they might as well launch it on the PS5 too. What if they just release the game on PS4, but they give it a box that says PS4 and PS5? And then it's, there you go. But also PS5 users.
Xbox does that, right?
Xbox does that, yeah. Like what they do. That's what I was thinking when I said that. And what if like the games are modulated to the point where PS5 makes the games look absolutely the best?
You see, I think we're at a time where I honestly don't know how games can look better. I mean, they're going to. We can't imagine how it is. Because, you know, when we were playing Super Nintendo games or 64 games, depending on how old you are, you're just like, oh my God, these look amazing. I can't imagine anything look better. And then everything kept looking better. So right now, games look absolutely amazing. They look real. They look beautiful. What's next is my next question.
Ray tracing. Like have you seen
the next step, a lot of that stuff when it comes to visual stuff, I think that the next step though would be PlayStation VR stuff, because I feel like PlayStation 5 is going to have a heavy emphasis and a lot of stuff catered to PlayStation 5, especially with
hold on one second,
some of the stuff
you're
that they were talking about with the sound,
you're breaking up a
it involves
lot,
like virtual
so
reality, so
I it's not just you, no.
I thought it was still my internet.
Yeah, I just want to. So try saying that again. It's because I feel like I missed.
A little better.
I missed. It's a little better. Yeah, I missed key parts of that montage, of that monologue. So I want to hear it all.
Okay. Yeah. What I was saying was that I feel like the next big thing, as far as visuals or like graphics or just overall aesthetic is concerned, I think is going to be with PlayStation VR. You know, the idea of virtual reality, the idea of like, you know, approaching gaming from a different perspective like that. Because remember, with that interview, they were talking about PlayStation 5 with the type of audio that I was going to be doing.
3D,
type of
3D immersive audio.
That they were going to get. Yeah, exactly. So that's like a next step, and that's more of like a presentation type of thing. As far as like the games themselves and the way they look, I think we've hit that point where there's a very minute difference or a very minute jump compared to what it used to be back in the day from the different console generations. But I think also at the same time, I think you're still going to get that type of thing, like what you were saying before with Xbox One, where games are going to look better on the better hardware like that, but they're still essentially going to be the same game. There's not going to be much more of a big difference there, other than just maybe a few more like audio tweaks, maybe a few more polished stuff with the graphics. I still think that games at this point, especially between PlayStation 4 moving into PS5, are as good as they're going to get for the moment. I don't think we're going to get a lot of big leaps now at this point, other than just the idea of like immersing ourselves in the games with virtual reality and PSVR.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like when it comes to how much better games can look, have any of you guys seen what ray tracing looks like on graphical demos and stuff?
To an extent. I haven't seen how far much further it can go, but yes, it does look a lot better. But it doesn't it's not like a night and day kind of thing right now.
I feel like it kind of is, but that's just
exactly.
Yeah, I think it kind of is to me at least because I saw CryEngine's little tech demo that they released recently, and they implemented ray tracing in it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like obviously tech demos are going to look better because they're running on like higher end hardware. Even though this tech demo is running on a Vega 56, which is still expensive, but it's not out of reach by any means. But then, of course, there's also you're going to have the combination of like the better, of course, the better specs, but even the combination of the SSD is a bigger deal than most people realize. It's not just going to increase load times; it's going to make the game world like refresh faster. So like maybe you can go faster down an open world plane or something. I don't know. I think we won't know how it's going to look until we see it happen is the thing. But I'm also with you there.
In a hardware setting, I'm cool with that. But I'm also worried about a software like just going like anything higher because one, we know games are expensive to develop. So it's gonna come down to us paying for it. So if things go at a really insane pace right now, how much are we gonna be paying for hardware, software? We enjoy the games we're playing now and we want to keep playing as regular consumers, but down the line, it's gonna cost us quite a bit more to get this. I don't want to be paying $79.99 for a AAA game.
Honestly,
and we're also at a point.
Go on.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I don't want to pay $79.99 for a game, and then on top of that, have microtransactions added up to that, so it's even more expensive just to play games. Certain ones. I don't play a lot of the heavy microtransaction ones, but I want to enjoy my games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean. But honestly, we've been paying $60 for games for so long. Like, I feel like us paying more for a single game is imminent at this point. I feel like it should happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I know originally Super Nintendo games were a lot more expensive than we were originally playing, but when we got into the disc era, I guess you can say, we were paying $49.99 for a game. And then, we got $59.99 for a game. And then probably down the line, we're going to be paying $69 to $79.
Mm-hmm. What are we saying, JD?
I think that's just the logistics of the business right now. I think that's just the economics of it right now. I think that at the current moment, what's been happening this console generation, I would even argue the previous generation, they've been trying to stretch out that one-time purchase of that $60 game. And that's where the microtransactions and all the extra stuff comes into play. I don't think that's anytime soon. If anything, I'm pretty sure at some point you're going to get that $70, maybe even $80 game, because I feel like as the quality of certain games, reaches a certain bar, or at least, is presented in a certain way, there's going to be other things to try to justify that price point. And I think that the people that really kind of resonate with that are going to dive into it, and that's going to become the new norm. I think it's going to happen over time. I don't think it's going to be immediate, but I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. And I don't think microtransactions are going to go away anytime soon. I think that even with some of the regulation stuff that might be over the horizon, like with stuff like what EA's done, and some of the other extra purchases in game for games like Destiny 2, and I would even argue Overwatch, like the loot boxes and stuff. I think that's going to persist into the next generation. I think you're going to see more of that with other games, especially with games even that are more single player stuff that allows you to purchase things that are necessarily not taking putting stuff back in that kind of locks you out of stuff, but opens up the game a lot easier to you. Devil May Cry 5 is a perfect example of that happened recently, where you were able to unlock most of the stuff. Resident Evil 2 did the same thing. You were able to get orbs and stuff and make the game a little bit easier to access like that. I think you're going to see more stuff like that.
See, I'm fine with it to a certain extent. I don't want to get into this whole conversation because we can go on it for hours and
we've been doing that. Yeah.
But what I am going to say is, I'm fine with companies trying to create a game, an experience for a game and all that, but when they're pretty much sacrificing quality to make sure, can we completely monetize this game for the next blah, 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 rather than developing a new game, then I feel like that's kind of bad because they're also adding microtransactions, season passes, battle passes, anything they can to kind of push out more money rather than focusing on the game. And some games have shown that more than anything.
I'm sorry, I'm just catching up with the comments because the article I had open was blocking them. Freaking Alonzo. Is Joey dressed as an inmate? Yes, thank you for asking. This is a jumpsuit. It is not a polo shirt I was wearing for Easter dinner. But Scott over here, freaking Scott over here in Canada, I don't want to pay $80 for a new game, but I do. Oh, Canada.
But I do. But now that Sony is saying that the PS5 is going to be compatible with PlayStation VR, does that mean they're going to be putting more of a focus on it? They have kind of slowed down on it. We haven't seen as many bigger titles towards it right now. I think VR is kind of like stagnant, so to speak, because, you know, it's just one. Do you have the room for it? Do you have the money for it? There is issue with hardware. PSVR, luckily with PS4 Pro, it's compatible. But let's say things like, Joey, you know, this Oculus, not everybody's buying it because they don't have the space just to set up everything. It's just like, I want to see VR grow, but it really hasn't.
I want to see it shrink so we don't have to take up as much space. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
shrink the goggles. But yeah, that's basically what it is.
You've done those. You've done those tests. I'm pretty sure for when we were back at our old website and current, where they had like those cameras set up everywhere. Then you had to walk around just to kind of get like that full experience of a game.
I think I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I don't have the space for that. It's just like, you know, it's kind of cool, but it's just so much.
Yeah.
I still think you're going to see games that have VR capabilities, like not VR games, but games that allow you to play them in PSVR. Like Tekken 7 does that. I know, what is it? Zone of the Enders does that, and I think Resident Evil 7 does that as well.
Yep.
Like other games, you know, that have that capability that is compatible with that hardware, but just not VR games in of themselves.
That I'm cool with because I did love. The only thing I loved about Star Wars Battlefront was that VR mission they had, which was great.
That was a great mission. Yeah. Didn't Ace Combat 7 have VR?
I'm pretty sure something like Death Stranding is going to do something like that. I'm pretty sure because you know how weird Kojima could be like that, especially with how crazy his games could be. I feel like something like that, especially that's like such a marquee title for whatever that platform's going to be or whatever the ecosystem's going to be at the time. I feel like something like that would be, you know, getting PlayStation VR compatibility, or even Ghost of Tsushima. I could see the same thing happening.
Yeah, I'm excited for Ghost of Tsushima. Where is that game? Why was it not in state of play like anything else in it? But how much do we think this PS5 is going to cost, and when do we think it's coming out?
They want to keep it. They want to.
I say
keep
$499.
Yeah.
I think that's the highest price point. I'm going $499 because I don't think it's going to go beyond that, but I don't think it's going to be cheap system either. I think it's going to be pricey. It's going to have the hardware and the guts to prove it, though. So people are going to pay for what they're getting.
Yeah,
I'm expecting $499. Max $599 depending on everything that comes inside of it, but I think $499 will be $499 back at it will be the right number. Will be the right number because they don't want another PS3 issue.
They don't. So I don't think they're ever going to announce a $600 model because they've done that. Man,
it's the optics of the whole ordeal. Like the idea is that people don't want to pay a lot of money for hardware, but at the same time, you have to justify your price in order to make a profit. Because if you're going to be putting all that hardware in there, that's expensive to develop and put together. Like that, let alone to manufacture it. So you have to make a profit somewhere. I know that PlayStation 4, within its first year or two, I think they sold it at a loss before they really started making some money like that. So there's a lot of checks and balances that go with it, but I still feel like, you know, that's a good medium price for median compromising price for me, rather without being too ridiculously expensive, but at the same time, you're not going to pay like pennies for the cost.
Yeah,
well,
you're going to pay
a lot of those. Sorry, a lot of what I just want to kind of correct that a bit. What a lot of companies actually did is they sell the systems at loss because they make the money back on licensing, their first party titles and everything to get it in people's hands. Sony sold the PS3 at a loss at the beginning because they wanted to get Blu-ray players in people's hands, and look what ended up happening. Blu-ray ended up winning the war because of that. Thankfully, I think PS5 they'll probably end up losing for quite a bit. Anywhere from $50 to $100 at the beginning, but to get it in people's hands, to say they have great numbers, the licensing for all the games you're gonna get is gonna make them win again.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like Sony with the PS3, man, they really just lost that generation when they announced the price tag for that system. Same thing will happen with the Xbox One, you know? So it's like to see them go from 600 to PS4 being 400, and now it's going to be like PS5 is going to be 500. I know there's going to be a lot of people turned off by that price. Whereas when the $400 was announced, it was like, whoa, we just won World War II again, boys. Pack it up. We're going home. Stuff like that. Man, I remember that day. That was just glorious. Like my favorite E3 ever. God, that was so good. But
that was some interesting conversations after that. I remember how people were wilding out about that. That was fun.
That was so fun. That was so fun. I want that again. Like, I just want that moment again. And maybe they'll get that moment if the next Xbox is going to be 600. Like, who knows? But
Well, speaking of Xbox and if the software is worth the money, we're going to talk about the all digital edition whatsoever a little
sad
bit.
edition.
Yeah, the SAT edition, the Xbox SAT edition.
God, oh, they had one job. It was to release an all digital. You'd think it not having a disk drive would make it cheaper. It didn't do it. They guys. Why
You
did
want an
do that?
Xbox One S? All right. You don't care for physical media? All right, we'll give you that. Now we're going to test this out. Here's our Xbox One SAT edition.
Shout
It's the
out
same
to
price as the standard Xbox
That's
One.
the worst. Whoever in the marketing department thought of that was really not thinking.
just throw them out.
Was they were really not thinking ahead with that marketing stuff. That's so like cheesy. It's so easy to make fun
Yeah,
of.
I love this comment from Scott. The dickless Xbox. Yes, can't tell if that's a spelling error, but either way, it's great. Yeah, that's
Probably right.
that topic is just self-explanatory. Excuse me, self-explanatory. It's just like, yeah, why'd you even bother? Just wait until the next Xbox. Come on, guys.
They wanted to test if people will buy this all digital edition. I can respect that. I don't respect that they're charging the exact same price as you can get one with the disc. When if you take out the lens, the whole structure, it probably costs them $50 to $70. I'll say like $25 less. But in all honesty, that'll probably to us consumers that turns out to be maybe $50 to $70. You know.
Here's the thing, man. If you're gonna choose between the SAT edition, which doesn't have a disc drive at all, and the edition that lets you play not only games but Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays, come on.
It's an easy decision to make.
Exactly.
I mean, if they would have given us a much bigger hard drive, I probably would have been fine with that.
But they didn't.
But they didn't. It's the same exact one. You're still getting
Oh
a
my
500 to 1 terabyte.
Come on, Xbox. What are you doing, man? But yeah, that's a sad story. I guess that's pretty much it. Any final thoughts on the PlayStation 5 before we close out this podcast?
Knowing me, I'm still gonna get it regardless.
Oh, you know, I'm gonna do it too.
I've got. I didn't start till PS3, but I
I'm
camped
intrigued.
out to get the PS3 60 gig. I made sure I got my PS4 day of release. I'll probably do the same for the PS5. It just depends on where I'm gonna get it. So far, sadly, I can say all of them have been at GameStop. But will GameStop survive that long?
The world may never know.
The world may never know.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen. Like I said, I think that be there this year. I think that it's going to be cool if we don't get like a reveal event. We get a PSX where we get an official announcement, an official coming out party for whatever the PlayStation 5 could be, where we can actually see the shell and see the hardware and actually get some solid details of like what this console is going to be, because it's exciting. But the way they're talking and the way that they're nonchalantly kind of revealing details, like in an interview of all things, I think this is a cause for good excitement. Like I think there's going to be some really cool stuff.
Do we think that it's going to come out in holiday 2020? Because some people are saying, hey, the Switch proved that you can come out with a system before the holidays. And I'm just thinking, the Switch was an anomaly. Yeah, the Switch was an anomaly. I don't think like every company is going to start releasing their systems in spring now. I still think they're going to...
Yeah, it's going to be based on how many games they have. I think Sony learned you have to have a strong backlog behind it, like a strong library to go with it when it goes released. Because when we got the PS3, that was a mess because there was like 5 games, 4 or 5 games.
Here's the thing. I mean, look at the games they got coming out right now that we don't have a lot of info on. I think we could all pretty much assume, or at least somewhat predict and expect those to be PS5 launch titles, which would be Death Stranding, The Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima right now. At least off the bat, not counting anything else that's in the works, because there's other studios at Sony that are working on things that we just don't know yet. Like at least they have stuff that's cooking in the oven.
So I'm gonna say, out of all those titles, I think Ghost of Tsushima will be the only game that's not a PS5. I think it'll be released before the PS5.
I think so too. They've been working on the game for very long, like since 2014. So
yeah, I think Death Stranding will see PS5-ish, PS4, and then we'll get Last of Us probably as a PS5 launch title, because Sony loves that company.
And here's the thing: it's different now because it's like perhaps Sony can get away with making this thing 500 because PS4s is still selling like crazy. They'll probably reiterate like this is
Really good, yeah.
This right here, this PlayStation 5 is more of a prosumer type of product. Like if you don't want to, prosumer. If you don't want to get one, just stick with your PS4 and you'll be fine. Because most of the games releasing, because if this next generation is going to be anything like the last one, we're still going to be seeing games released on last generation hardware for the next 1 or 2 years. There you
So
go.
is this the PS4 Scorpio?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, but that's
we'll see though. But I'm happy. We just gotta keep up on all the news as it comes out.
Exactly. It's gonna be something. What's this? Scott said Nintendo can do whatever they want and it will still sell like hotcakes. The other two companies directly compete with each other. They need the holiday season and the console wars to spur sales. Meanwhile, Kyle said, Scott, can I introduce you to the Wii U? Ouch.
Hold on, can I introduce you to one of Nintendo's best creative products ever? The Virtual Boy. Hello?
I think
can't
he
hear
muted himself. I can't
Yeah,
hear him
he
at
did.
all. Yeah. He muted himself.
As soon as I showed the
funny, no, but
as
I will
soon as
say
I
one
showed
thing,
the Virtual Boy, he's just silent.
I think that yeah, right. Like I think that what is it with that comment that was in the chat about the other two manufacturers like competing with each other and Nintendo doing its own thing. Okay. I think that was the case for a while, but I think that's changed. Yeah, now I can hear
see, my microphone, my new microphone is very weird. It's the sound. It's the freaking. It's the audio interface I have this hooked up to. It just gives up after like an hour. I don't, and then I have to unplug it and plug it back in. It's really.
Did Scott have a reply to my Virtual Boy comment?
I was just going, god damn it! How dare you? You are banned.
It was like Virtual Boy. Get that out of here!
Fridge gaming
for what? Having a Virtual Boy? How dare you?
How dare you for having a Virtual Boy, sir?
I got it for $10.
You should have gotten it for nothing.
So I'm gonna have.
It was $5 too much, but it's still in the
grab
collection.
A Game Boy or something just to clean my hands off of it.
I saved a GIF of Reggie playing that thing in 2015. That was great. But hey, Reggie's gone. Reggie's gone. Rest in peace, Reggie. He's still alive, but rest in peace. Rest in retirement.
You know what made me cry? That Master Sword comment he put on Twitter. It's like the Master Sword staying here for the next hero.
Oh, god damn it!
Like, he took everything else but the Master Sword. It's like I'm leaving it here for the next warrior hero thingy. I just like here.
And it's Doug Bowser. It's Bowser, my guys. But I'm getting way too hot in this room. I need to get out and get some air. So thank you for joining us, JJ. Tell us where we can find you, because we can find you in a lot of different places.
Yeah, I am literally all over the place. Like I do a ton of stuff. So I mean, to give you guys the big ones. I have a YouTube channel. You can find me at youtube.com/gamerswithgains channel, or you could just search for Jake James Lugo in the search bar. I upload every single week. I put new reviews. I put new vlogs, unboxing videos, podcast shows, interviews, whole bunch of stuff. You could also find me on Twitter at Jake James Lugo. I actually just changed my Twitter handle recently. Instead of having the goofy venomous fat man name, I actually have Jake James Lugo now, so it makes a little more sense. Which is great, and it's easier to find me like that. You can also find me on Instagram at Gamers with Gains on Instagram, and also I'm on the coalition.com. The coalition.com is the Coalition with a K, and that's the place where I put all my RIN reviews, all my other content, unboxings, interviews, all types of like different gaming related content that you guys I know will get a kick out of. So also, finally, one other thing I should mention, I'm on Twitch. I stream every weekday on Twitch around like 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/gamerswithgains. And I'm constantly playing all types of video games on there. Cool. So, yeah, I'm all over the place.
To all those who listened until the very end, I'm very sorry that the Wi-Fi connections were very bad this episode. We will try and do better next time.
It's so weird that it's just happening to all of us, isn't it?
Literally all of us. It's very bad.
I originally thought it was just me, and then the moment I switched over to mobile, it was working perfectly fine.
God, the internet's just Skynet's attacking. Let's just be honest, guys.
Skynet's attacking.
I blame Xfinity, Comcast. I blame Comcast.
Fucking Comcast. AT&T over here. They've been dropping me out of my Division 2 matches all goddamn week. I'm so done with them. But Chris, where can I find you?
Well, anyway, make sure you check out Game with Games. It's an awesome site. I actually been watching it for some time. But you can find me at Nuke the Chris at Instagram, Twitter. Find my work, obviously, at nukethefreeze.com with the rest of the guys. I just posted up a bunch of videos this week. I plan on doing quite a bit more. I'm actually working on a new project right now for a new business because, you know, I want to make the rest of our team a bunch of money. So just keep an eye on that. We're going to also be having a rebranding actually pretty soon.
What happened?
Gamer with Games just exploded on me. Sorry for headphone users, but yeah, that's
That was great.
Rip headphone users.
Joey, where can we find you?
Well, you of course can find me here on Nuke the Fridge Gaming, and soon to be called something else entirely. You'll figure it out. But you can also find me on my other YouTube channel, Ferris Wheel Pro, as well as my other YouTube channel, Commonwealth Realm. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ferris Wheel Pro. But until next time, guys and germs. I just called the ladies germs. I should say ladies and germs next time. Yeah, that's good. All right, but we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye. Stop broadcast.